Hey guys, so we're going to be working on paper mache pumpkins this week, and I'm going to show you how to get started with your paper mache. So if you looked at the PowerPoint, the little PDF slides that I attached to a page in Canvas, it told you a little bit about paper mache and showed you some different pictures. So I hope you looked through that so you know that paper mache originally means chewed or mashed paper. And so we're going to be using this mixture here, and it's glue. So I just have Elmer's glue and water. It's going to be about 3 parts glue to 1 part water. I've got mine in a big tub that we're using in class, but if you're at home, you can just get a little paper or styrofoam bowl, and that should work just fine. So a way to get started, you can just grab a paper plate, and you can see I've already started one here. So this one's got a couple layers of the paper mache on it already, but I'm going to show you how to do it from the beginning. So we use this kind of newsprint paper in class, but like I said, you can use newspaper, all right, or some magazines. So we've got our strips. A little bit thinner is better. This one's got a weird sticker on it, so I'm going to tear that off. So I should have all of my strips prepared already. And if you need more while you're working, you can always make more. All right. So I'm just going to get these prepared. And this paper tears really easily, as you can see. I'm going to rip some in half again. And if you've got some really, really long strips, you might tear them down to like in half, so they're about maybe a foot. Awesome. So we're just going to be using for the inside a balloon. You can find these at the dollar store in the party section. You just need one. Unless you want to make more, then maybe you need a couple. So I'll kind of stretch it out. Then I'm going to blow it up. Awesome. So I'm not going to make it super big. I want it to be a little bit flexible. Okay. So I've blown it up. I'm going to make sure I tie that knot really well. Okay. So we got our balloon. It's not super filled up, so I can kind of squish it just a little bit. Because what I'm going to do, you can do 2 different things. You can use like masking tape. So this is just like blue painter's tape. Or you can grab some rubber bands. I'm going to get mine. So I got a big bag of rubber bands. Get that open. All right, so I'm going to use a few. And I'm stretching these around my balloon. So I got 1, okay. I'm probably gonna do 2 more. This is gonna help the balloon squish a little bit so it'll look kind of like our pumpkin shape. So I'm gonna give us a little bit of a stretch first. If you pop a rubber band, don't stress out. If your rubber bands are too small, use the tape method. All right, see how it's starting to get those little like ridges a little bit, starting to look a little more pumpkin shaped. All right, I think I'm gonna do 1 more and we'll do 6. That sounds good. When I say 6, it'll look like we've got 6 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm using 3 rubber bands. So see how it starts to make our little pumpkin shape? Awesome. So I'm just going to put him on my paper plate. That's going to help me keep him from moving everywhere while I'm working. And the rubber bands should help a little bit, keeping the bottom a little bit flatter. I'm going to make sure those are nice and even so they don't pop off while I'm working. right, so he'll stand up a little bit better than just a normal balloon. A normal balloon would be rolling around. So I've got my strips and I'm gonna start dipping them in my mixture. All right, so now I'm gonna pull out a strip. So this is the important part. You wanna use your 2 fingers, make a little peace sign, and then make it like a little squeegee all the way down your strip so it's not dripping. And then I'm gonna start laying down and smoothing out my strips. You're gonna get a little messy, okay? I put down a plastic trash bag to keep me from getting too messy. If you got an apron at home, that would be a great option to keep your clothes from getting messy. And this is totally safe, this mixture. You can pour it down the drain when you're done. It's just glue and water. So we use the glue to make sure it'll be nice and stiff and hard. And that water helps make the paper be nice and flexible for us. So I'm just kind of laying my strips across it and I'm smoothing it down with my hands and with my fingers. So when you use a wider strip, it tends to get these little bumps on it. So a little bit thinner strips are better to use when you're doing this, okay? But I'm just smoothing it out as I go. It's gonna take some time to dry, so make sure you do this. You can probably do this in an afternoon. Maybe you'll need 1 or 2 days. And then give it several days to dry before you try to paint it. Make sure it's totally dry. So in the meantime, after we do our paper mache, we're gonna be waiting for them to dry. So at that time, we're gonna be working on our sketches, and I'll post more about that on Canvas. But I wanted you guys to see how your process should go of making your paper mache pumpkin form. So this is the first step. So you want to do about 3 layers of the strips to make sure it's nice and solid. So I'm going like this. I'm going to keep going until it's covered, and then when I want to do the bottom, I'm just going to flip it over. And I'm gonna lay strips on the bottom too. So see how a shorter strip is a little bit better? A long strip, we might have to wind it all the way around that balloon. So this is a little bit easier. Just leaving my strip in there for a few seconds before I pull it out. If you leave it in there for a while, it's going to get really mushy and tear too easily, and we don't want that. That's going to make it really hard to paper mache. So, but you want to make sure it all gets soaked in there. I think going outside to do this is a great option. If you've got some space or like a table outside, that would be great. Don't get your mom and dad or grandpa's, auntie, uncle's house all messy, okay? Because I know they wouldn't like that. And the weather's so nice now that it's fall. It'd be very nice to have some nice art making time outside. So I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna flip it back over, work on my top. I'm almost running out of strips, so I'm gonna have to make myself some more to finish, which is no problem. And I'm just gonna keep laying and I'm gonna keep working to fill in all of those gaps where I can still see my balloon. So let's finish up my strips here, and then we'll take a look at this one that I've got about 3 layers on. So this is kind of just a big piece, but that'll still work. Good. All right, so I would have to cut myself some more strips. That's about 1 layer. And I'm gonna do 2 more layers and to make sure I get it all really, really covered. So that is that. If we take a look at this one that I was working on earlier, so this one's got about 3 layers on it. And see how it's kind of changed color? It started to dry a little bit. So this one, it's going to be way thicker than this one. And I've just kept layering it so it should look something like this. All right, so we are going to let these dry now. And once they're dry in a few days, then you'll see me again with the next step that we need to do. So get started. If you have questions, please message me on Canvas, and good luck.